Hello, how are you? So we are going to look at this type of equation and we're going to refresh our brains on how we solve it. Okay, so let's start with the variable. We're solving for A. What's attached to the A? Good, the 5 over 3 by what operation? Multiplication. So how do you break multiplication? Yeah, you divide. You divide by 5 over 3, don't you? Which means I divide by 5 over 3, don't I? Okay? Remember, these are both division the way it's written. They're just written two different ways, but both mean division still, right? Okay. So the 5 over 3 cancels itself out on the left side. So what remains? A. Good. Equals. Now on the right side, you have 5/3 as a fraction. So let's make 35 a fraction. And you are dividing fractions. Do you remember how to divide fractions? Right. It turns to a multiplication problem. That's true. Do you remember which one does the flipping? And if you're uncertain, let me show you this complex fraction because that's what this is called. You're taking 35 over 1 and you're dividing by 5 over 3. And here's how this shortcut came about that you think somebody pulled out of the thin blue air. I promise they didn't. You know, if this denominator wasn't here, this 5/3 wasn't here, this would be a lot nicer looking. So here's what we do. We're going to multiply by its reciprocal. Won't everything cancel out and leave you just a 1 on the bottom? Well, if you do that to the denominator, you do it to the numerator, which means the 35 over 1 stays the same, and fraction number 2 does the reciprocating. That's why it's always fraction number 2 that flips, because it was a complex fraction, and this is how you tackled it. Good? Okay. Which means we end up with A equaling. Now, you have choices. You can multiply straight across, or you can reduce first. I'm going to choose to reduce, because I know 5 goes into itself once and into 35 7 times. So I'm left with 7 over 1 times 3 over 1, which, hey, that's just 21, isn't it? Lovely. Are we good with it? Okay. Now, I want to show you something else. Still the same problem, but I want to pose something else to you now that you understand this process. You know, we're going to divide by 5 over 3. But now we remember that dividing by 5 over 3 was the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, isn't it? So couldn't I, right from the start, multiply the left side by the reciprocal of 5 over 3? Wouldn't that cancel the 3's and cancel the 5's and leave me with just a 1 in front of that A? So that's what I'm going to do then. I am going to cut straight to the chase, and I am going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. And this side we already worked out. We know it's 21. We worked it out over here. But now that I know when I divide fractions, I multiply by the reciprocal of number 2, fraction 2, I'm just going to do it right from the start. And it becomes a much shorter process because I understand how to divide fractions. Good? Okay, I've got some examples coming your way. Work on them. If you need to see how I solve them, you want to see the solutions, go find my solution key video. Have fun. Catch you on the flip side.